The old, worn teddy bear slumped against the pillow. Its button eyes, one dangling by a thread, seemed to watch over Michael. Michael, lost in a world of dreams, clutched his dinosaur sheets. Life was simple, filled with school, friends, and the comforting predictability of home. He loved his parents dearly. Their laughter filled the house, a warm blanket on a cold night. He never realized how much he took that simple life for granted. He never imagined the nightmares that lurked just beyond the veil of sleep, waiting to drag him down into a world of shadows and fear. Sleep began to unravel. Whispers slithered through Michael's dreams, twisting familiar shapes into grotesque figures. The whispers grew louder, colder, pulling him deeper into the darkness. He thrashed, trying to cling to the remnants of his peaceful dreams, but the darkness held him fast. Then he woke, or so he thought. He was in his room, but everything felt wrong. The air hung heavy, thick with the metallic scent of fear. The shadows remained no longer just shadows, but living things pulsating with a sinister energy. There was no comfort here, only a growing sense of dread. A figure solidified from the shadows. It towered over Michael, a grotesque mockery of a child, its eyes burning like hot coals. Terror, cold and sharp, pierced through him. He wanted to scream, to run, but his body refused to obey. He was trapped, a prisoner in his own nightmare. "You have been chosen!" the creature rasped, its voice like nails scraping across a chalkboard. "The stolen monster challenge awaits. Steal from everyone. If you succeed, unimaginable riches will be yours. Fail and you will be mine." Michael's mind reeled. Steal? From everyone? His heart pounded against his ribs. He was just a child, he didn't understand. The creature leaned closer, its rancid breath washing over him. "The first theft is the most important. Steal from those you love the most. Steal from your parents." The thought sent a shiver down Michael's spine. Steal from his parents, the people who loved and cared for him. It was unthinkable. But the creature's words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken threat. He could feel a terrifying presence lurking in the shadows behind the monster, the stolen monster, waiting. Section 5. The Price of Failure. "What happens if I refuse?" Michael whispered, his voice trembling. The monstrous child smiled, a chilling, humorless expression. "The stolen monster devours those who fail to meet its challenge. It will consume you, leaving behind only a hollow shell filled with gold." The image of his lifeless body, a golden statue, filled Michael with a terror he'd never known. He couldn't die. Not like this. But the thought of stealing from his parents, the guilt and shame it would bring, was almost unbearable. He was trapped between a rock and a horrifying monster. Section 6. Betrayal's Sharp Sting. His parents' door creaked open. They looked at him, their faces etched with worry. He hated the fear he saw in their eyes, the fear he had put there. In their hands they clutched their most prized possessions. His father's antique watch, his mother's pearl necklace. He had to do this. He had to survive. "I'm sorry," he choked out, the words tasting like ash on his tongue. He snatched the items, his heart shattering into a million pieces, his parents' faces contorted in anger and betrayal. He had never felt so much pain, so much self-loathing. Section 7. Golden Chains of Greed. The stolen monster, a hulking silhouette in the shadows, stirred, its eyes, cold and empty, fixed on Michael's parents. Tendrils of dark energy shot out, wrapping around them, squeezing the life out of them. Their cries were cut short, replaced by an eerie silence. Then, as Michael watched in horror, their bodies began to change, hardening, their skin taking on a metallic sheen. The stolen monster had kept its word. His parents stood there, frozen, their golden forms reflecting the dim light in the room. They were gone, replaced by cold, lifeless statues. The sight sent a wave of nausea through him, but there was no time for grief. Not now. He had to keep moving, keep stealing to survive this nightmare. Section 8, A Trail of Tears and Riches. Night after night, the cycle continued. He moved from house to house, town to town, a phantom in the night, stealing from everyone he encountered. Each theft chipped away at his soul, leaving him emptier than before. The stolen monster grew larger with every stolen treasure, its power palpable, a suffocating presence. He was bound to it, a puppet dancing to its tune. The riches he amassed meant nothing. They were stained with guilt and sorrow, a constant reminder of the price he was paying for his survival. Section 9. The hourglass runs low. The line between dream and reality blurred. He was lost in a maze of stolen moments and broken promises. The monster's laughter echoed in his ears, a constant reminder of his impending doom. The deadline to complete the challenge loomed, a dark cloud on the horizon. He had stolen from countless people, amassed a fortune beyond imagination. But it was not enough. The stolen monster demanded more. It craved the world, and Michael was the key to its insatiable greed. Section 10. A Fate Undecided. The climax arrived on a night choked by fog. The air crackled with the stolen monster's power. Michael stood before the last person on his list, a lone figure shrouded in mist. He could barely make out their face, but he could feel their fear, their despair. Would he make the final theft, condemning himself to a life haunted by his actions? Or would he defy the monster, accepting the ultimate price for his defiance? His finger hovered over the last object he had to steal. His breath caught in his throat. The decision, a matter of life and death, hung in the balance.